Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alicia Elizabeth and I am so excited that you've decided to join me here today for another video. If this is your first time here, hello, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, hey boo, hey. For both of you, grab a snack, get comfortable. I think we're gonna be here for a while. Today I wanna talk about comparison. And I know you're gonna tell me, oh Alicia, comparison is a thief of joy. It steals joy. And when I do it, I don't feel good. Well, this is what I want to tell you today. If you would be so kind enough to open up your horizons and to think of a different way of how comparison actually works for you if you work it. Let's start with the definition. Comparison, by definition, is a consideration or an estimate of the similarities or dissimilarities between two things or people. And so based on this definition, comparison in itself, absent of any emotion that you attach to it, is not a good or bad thing. It is actually you taking an educated process, right, to come to an informed conclusion. So when you're comparing, you are sitting down and you are comparing to things or to people. Often we experience comparison because we're always measuring ourselves up against something or someone. That is one of the first mistakes we make when we're comparing. But I want to share with you 1 to 2 ways of how comparison can work for you if you would challenge yourself to see the process of comparison when it's happening in live time as a benefit. The next time you open social media and you see someone doing really well, I don't want you to be like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to get there with my content. I'm never going to get there with my business. I'm never going to get there with my health goals. I want you to take a second, feel the discomfort, and understand that you are experiencing a lot of information overload. You have your own desires of where you want to be. You see someone else doing it. It feels so far off. You feel like you're so far behind. Take a second. Understand that you're having a lot of information being processed. And then when you have a moment, take a deep breath and think through what you are experiencing. Comparison, number 1, is research. When you see something or someone that you aspire to mirror, to be like, or grow into, after you have that moment of like, I want you to say, I wonder what that person is doing. Outside of the things that I can take note of that they choose to publish or post, I wonder what else they did that they may not have shared that I'm not privy to, right? Or let's say you're trying to open a business. You're going to do your due diligence to go and research that business. You might look at their reviews. You might see where people have been rating them low so that when you open your business, you can use those weaknesses that they have as strength opportunities. But in addition to identifying their weaknesses, you're going to look at their strengths to make sure your business has those strengths. This is called research. It is only when you look at your business and you measure it, you give this comparison, this research moment worth. When you say the information that I find and I discover in this moment in time is going to determine my business's worth. That is when you experience feelings of discomfort during the time where you should be comparing vital information. Okay? I know this is wordy, but follow me. Comparison, when utilized correctly, is research for you. The information overload, the emotions that you experience about the information you are gathering, you're going to have to learn to process and accept that information as an opportunity to, number 2, raise your standards. So comparison, while it may not always feel good to participate in, it is information, aka research, and it provides you with an opportunity to see where you have to raise your standards. And both of those, and this is just 2 points, 2 things of how comparison is helpful to you. both of those things are beneficial if you choose to see it that way, right? I believe that when comparison dwindles into those emotions, when you allow the information you gathered after comparing to be filed away into a tank that says, this determines my worth, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to reach this place, that's when comparison steals your joy. Because you did not file the information you discovered in the right place. Okay? I'm gonna break this down one more time for people who are watching and trying to follow. Comparison is inevitable. It is something we cannot avoid. When we set out to do a thing, anything, we always have something as a mark. It's always, there's nothing that we set out to do that someone hasn't already done or that someone isn't already doing. This is where we have been inspired, or we believe, wow, this is possible. When we choose to look at the thing or the person that has set the standard for us, and we say, I can do that. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do this, right? You're gathering information. Now, let's say you've been on your journey to do the thing you set out to do for a month, 2 months, 2 years, 3 years. Then you go back and you start comparing where you are to where they are, and you are gathering information again. Helpful to your journey. It's helpful to your journey. It is when you take that information and instead of saying, wow, for the past 2 years, I didn't think to follow up with people. I didn't think to seek out a mentor. I didn't think to pray about it. I didn't think to be more discerning. Whatever it is that you're seeking to do, I didn't think to be more loving. I didn't think to practice forgiveness. In that moment where you are comparing your journey to another person's, you have the decision, you have the determining factor to say, I'm going to take this information and I'm going to store it in my toolbox and I'm going to begin applying it. I'm not going to say that this information determines my worth. I'm not going to take this information and say I'm never going to reach the destination. I'm just going to take the information and apply it. That's when comparison works for you. When you find out that you have been half doing your role and now you feel bad, that's when comparison is problematic. Okay? That is when it is problematic. So, my message in general today is comparison only steals your joy if you allow it to. Otherwise, it is an amazing tool to keep in your back pocket, to gather information, and to keep raising your bar. And I share this with you because I want you to be excellent in the things that you do. I believe that we serve an excellent God, and so it is not ridiculous to set a goal of excellence. And the way you become excellent is by being able to recognize that someone else is excellent and you remain teachable. And in order to remain teachable, you have to do some comparison of where the person or the people or the business or the group, where they are, that's where you aspire to be. And you may easily grow past them, but until you're there, the comparison is, I'm here, you're there. What do I need to do? What things do we have in common? What are the similarities? What things am I doing that you recommend I continue to do? And what things are you doing that I'm not? The dissimilarities that I need to start doing. This is when comparison works for you. This is when it doesn't steal your joy, but instead it adds to it because you have more information. Because it is foolish. It is foolish to think that the way you maneuver and the way you've been moving in all lanes of your life is the way at all times. That is foolish. And I don't want that for you. I promise I don't. And so I hope that as you move forward, because every time we open our phone, comparison is going to come up. We cannot get away from it. People are posting their highlight reels, and so we're posting our highlight reels. And naturally, we're comparing how happy we are to the next person. How much are we living in comparison to the next person? How much do we make? How great is our makeup? How much do we take care of ourselves? How great or how amazing is our spouse? We're always comparing something. And so you have to take the information you're given and run it through a series of questions. What don't I know? What can I learn? What am I mastering? Where do I need more practice? What about my discipline is not matching up to this person's or this business, right? Take that information and do something helpful with it, because it's going to elevate you. I pray that this video makes sense. I pray that you choose to challenge yourself, because you always have a choice. We always have a choice. That when we feel the spirit of comparison coming over us, which means when we feel ourselves beginning to compare, how am I going to file this information away? How am I going to file this information away? Am I going to be jealous, resentful, discouraged? Am I going to forfeit the race? Or am I going to be like, wow, never thought about that. Dang, that's awesome information. I have that noted. Going to start on it tomorrow. Going to start on it tonight. What are you going to do with the information that comparison allows you to be privy to? That is your decision. I pray this video was encouraging, and I appreciate you watching to the end. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye.